Sports Radio 66, my son.
The Fan.
WFAN.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan. WFAN, New York.
All right, let's go right to Madison Square Garden. Our very own Outside the Cage podcast team of Pete Hoffman and Ike Feldman.
Madison Square Garden and New York City gets the fastest rising sport probably in the world.
If you like chaos,
You got it.
you certainly got it. Championship belts in 2 weight classes at the same time.
We're gonna do everything that we said we would do when we got to New York.
Looking for that knockout punch. And boom.
This is Cowboy, and you're listening to WFAN Outside the Cage podcast.
This is WFAN's Outside the Cage with your host, Pete Hoffman, Ike Feldman. Check us out at _ Outside the Cage, at Ike _ CBS.
At the Hall WFAN. What up? It's fight week. No, it's not.
We just had that.
No, we just had that.
We just had a
Next week is fight week.
Again, WFAN.com. There's Ringside Sports tab on WFAN.com. Play.it, iTunes, all of the social media, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WFAN.
Another big show.
Yes, another big show. We have special guests. If anybody watched the Bellator NYC card, there was the big Aaron Pico fight. Hype train. But he lost to Zach Freeman, and
30 seconds.
And he joins Ike this week to talk about his domination of the hype train, Aaron Pico.
And folks, a little behind the curtain, he sounds hungover like he was partying in NYC. The dude just stayed up and ate a lot of food and got a lot of contacts. So he's not a big drinker. So he may sound like he's hungover, but he's not.
He's just a blue-collar dude. And then after that, we will have, another special guest that we kind of ran into, but he has had his fights, but he's also known for his NFL. Herschel Walker, who is a big dude, and he loves MMA, and he kind of basically tells us that, which is fantastic.
Oh, yeah, love it. Dude, his son was, he was there, and the son is jacked. I was like, I hope his son's not getting MMA. Kick our ass.
Oh, he will. Trust me, sooner than later. And then also, finally, we'll have Jason Perillo joining us, PerilloBoxing.com. He is the trainer of Cyborg, Bisbing, BJ Penn, these type of names. So he joins us to talk about all that stuff. I mean, listen, Cyborg can't get out of the news these days. She's just all over the place. And we'll start with that. Just recently, again, Megan Anderson stepped in to fight Cyborg because the randomie went down. Went back to 135, and now all of a sudden
UFC stripped it.
Oh, stripped it, right?
She doesn't want to fight a potential steroid user,
right? And then now all of a sudden there's a personal issue with Megan Anderson. And so she has to back away from this card, and now they're bringing Tanya Evinger up from Invicta FC. Both Invicta FC, all three Invicta FC fighters, to be honest with you. But she's going to be fighting Cyborg on.
Now you've seen Tanya fight, and what's the analyst on her? What's her type of game?
She wants a ground game. I mean, listen, she can stand if she wants to, but she wants to bring this fight to the ground. She knows that Cyborg is it can strike all day, and not saying Tanya can't do that, but she's a submission artist. That's what she's going to want to do.
Can she fill out for the 145?
I mean, she normally fights at 135.
Yeah.
So technically, I think she can get up there. I don't see why not. I don't know if that's more of her just trying to be like, kind of fat and lazy and just kind of eating. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how do you bulk up 10 pounds? It depends. People have different things. I could put 10 pounds of muscle on, or I just need to get 10 pounds on. So I don't know which way she. Yeah, it's not. And Cyborg's a big girl. That's the thing. She's not.
Walks around 170, something like that.
Yeah, she's not the normal I'm 145, walk around 145 constantly. She literally walks around 170. She's got to do the cut. That's why her cuts are so tough to get to 135. That's why that was the big deal. So, I mean, she's a big girl, and Tanya's gonna have to do a lot of work to work that to stop from getting knocked out. Let's put it that
sounds
way.
like you're saying prayers while you're speaking about
Listen,
it.
I'm confident in Tanya. She's a professional. She's been in Invicta FC forever.
Yeah.
She's the face of Invicta FC. I'm happy she's finally getting a shot. And I got to be honest, for most people, they're like, "Oh, who they feeding Cyborg? Who they feeding the Cyborg? That's the question. Who they feed in Cyborg? Megan wasn't that type of fighter. I think Megan actually had a good chance, and I don't think Tanya is someone that's being fed to Cyborg either. To be honest with you,
No, just going by her face when they always line up the 214 Cyborg in the front, Challenger in the background. Evanger looks like a tough girl. She's got that face I don't care if you punch me, I want to keep going forward.
Yeah.
I didn't wear scrunchies and pink clothes growing up. But, dude, this entire featherweight division, Dana, back in December, made this division for Cyborg. And she said, I can't make 145 in 10 weeks. And it's how much does she weigh? I mean, we see her deadlift 330, and then we were at Brooklyn in 208 with the freaking lay and pray. It was basically George St. Pierre against the fence. It was just clinched the entire time. The Randome barely wins, thank goodness, because Holly Holm, I was tired of that Jackson Winklejohn style of the wait it out until the bell rings, score the points. And then Durandame says, I'm not going to fight a steroid user. I'm back and forth on this. It's you got to be a champion. You got to show that you can fight anybody in the world. Or it's, are you taking a stand against PEDs? Because Cyborg is a proven positive tester when it comes to PEDs. USADA caught her with some pregnant pills, the cutting, and it's really sketchy. But if you are the better fighter, you got to take it.
yeah, you have to, and that's the same thing with DJ. We're talking about too. With he's beating up the entire flyweight division, and there's really no one else to fight. And that's not DJ's fault. That's just the division's issue right now. And he's getting presented with other fighters from other divisions, and he doesn't want to do it. It's dude, don't run away. Just take what Dana gives you. He's trying to make you a star, dude.
Dude, he even ran away from us. We were trying to get a couple of minutes. He was no.
He had to catch a flight. He had to catch a flight.
To be fair.
He almost knocked out Hector, though. But dude, you know what? This featherweight has been doomed since the beginning. I mean, they built it. They had a huge title fight, and they never had a defense, and they never had anybody involved in it. It's right now, it's just it'll just we'll just randomly have featherweight fights when we can. And that's kind of BS, personally speaking.
I 100% agree. They fought at 140, I believe, Cyborg, and all 2016 made up a weird class for her. I mean, this seems like a win-win. If Evanger wins, the world goes crazy.
Oh,
if Cyborg wins, she continues the legend. Please, the winner of this versus Megan Anderson, Ultimate Fighter featherweight for the women.
That'd be great, dude. That'd be great. Well, they're already
there.
I think they're already going to do some sort of what's it? The flyweight division. They're trying to.
What did Pat Barry say? And that's lingering in the back of my head. If Shevchenko comes out and annihilates Amanda Nunes, she's trying to start the 125 division. He picked her over the phone with us, and I was like, damn. I was like, is Shevchenko this woman who we don't fully know about? Because I'm picking Nunes right now, about 10 days out.
Yeah, I think Nunes is definitely the favorite in this fight. I'm not sure where I'm going to go exactly, but I wouldn't see why not. She's only demolished all her opponents the past few times around, so it doesn't make any sense not to go her way. Shevchenko beat Pena, right? That wasn't right. She beat Pena, and was it Pena that she beat?
Yes, with I believe so, with the armbar.
Yeah, right, exactly. It was an armbar, and I remember because I went Pena in that fight too. So listen, Shevchenko, she's got a good ground game. She does. So I mean, if she can take Nunes to the ground, that'd be great. But I mean, she got to stand up with her for a little bit first.
Yeah,
that's the problem. And Nunes has those fists, man. She's a knockout artist. She is.
And it's the rematch, and Shevchenko won the third round, got demolished in the first two, and she said, if I had 2 more rounds, I would kick your ass. But to get to the fourth, Nunes is a different fighter from when they fought. Maybe it was at 196, so whenever that was, the Conor-Nate one. So maybe a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. Nunes trains at American Top Team with Lawler. Sorry, Lawler and Cerrone can't get it on next week. We'll get that. She trains with Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So I believe her cardio will be better. She has the stereotypical Brazilians have bad cardio, so I believe she'll right the ship and she'll finish her early. Yeah, no, I believe so too. And it's unfortunately, I mean, we'll get into the Cerrone and the cow and the Lawler stuff a little bit later, I guess. But it'll be a good card. It'll be exciting. I mean, listen, there's still good fights on the 213, but yes. It is. You keep on saying the Conor curse, and I'm feeding it. I'm feeding it just to do it. I don't believe it at all, but I'm feeding it because
You know what? Why not? At this point in time, you had two fights off of this 213 card. That's kind of getting annoying, dude.
Huge fights. That was my favorite fight to see. Like, you would have thought these guys would have banged it out on the... Whoa.
Whoa.
You would have thought it would have been a banger on that card. Cerrone, Lawler, no takedowns, just freaking crosses and head kicks.
And TJ and Cody, again, they were supposed to be the original headline, and those two really hate each other. So, I mean, these would have been a great night of fights. Not saying it won't be a great night of fights, but there's a lot to work on with these injuries.
Yikes.
Listen, you can't predict anything. Like Bellator NYC, which we haven't even touched on yet, which maybe we'll get a little bit later, because we were there. It was set to be a great night of fights, a great card, the stacked card for Bellator, and it's like mixed emotions because there was certain.
How do you feel now, a couple of days out? Because we had a conversation when we left the building. We were kind of iffy. We were tired. We want to get out of there. But how do you feel now, a couple of days out?
There's certain fights that it went the way I expected it to go, and then a lot of the promising fights I was really hopeful about went the wrong way. And I read an article by Jeremy Botter. He was like, everything that could go wrong on the night that everything could go wrong, it did, or something like that. Whatever he said, it was something along the lines like everything went wrong. It was like a nightmare because you hype up Michael Chandler and he gets hurt before you even know it. The Bader-Phil Davis match wasn't as exciting as you wanted to. That was that was going to kick off the pay-per-view, basically. That was your transition from Spike to pay-per-view, and that just didn't get as exciting as we wanted. Listen, they both went at it, and they both gave as much as they possibly could, but there was something missing. Maybe it was a takedown, but there was something missing. The Mitrione Fedor kind of went the way we kind of figured it wasn't.
That was epic.
The double knockdown was crazy.
Are you with Botter on this?
A little bit.
Because Luke Thomas, all these geniuses of the sport, and Pete, guys, folks, at the Hall of WFAN is a genius in the sport. He's with these guys too. I'm just looking at it like, we got an amazing rare occurrence with the double knockdown.
That was awesome.
Got a 30-second finish with Zach Freeman.
That was crazy.
And yes, the two prospect or well-skilled, rounded fights with Lima, Larkin, and Bader, Davis, it didn't pan out.
Right.
But we got what we expected with Sonnen. Got the double knockout. We got the finish. I thought it was a thumbs up comparing to Brooklyn. And to comparing Buffalo 210, which we were at.
Compared to Brooklyn, yes, this was a thumbs up. But again, there was a few things. It's maybe not even so much the fights. It's the stuff that surround the fights that I was a little bit like. That's the first Bellator card we've been to.
Yeah,
and I'm very appreciative of the Bellator people for hooking us up. It was awesome.
Didn't hook us up with some food.
No, that we missed out on. But the one thing in particular that like you just see, it's night and day. We know what Bellator is going for, but I think there's some things that they can work on and change to get a better, more serious image. Like Tito Ortiz sitting there screaming during the national anthem, like that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. It's no holds barred, dude. You do whatever you want. And I talked to somebody. It's funny because someone was asking me about the Bellator, and I was like, yeah, it was crazy. They had Tito screaming at the anthem the whole time, and he's like, "Oh, really? What do they do during the anthem for UFC?" I was like, "They don't even do the anthem at UFC."
No.
He goes, "What? I'm more pissed about that than Tito screaming." I'm like, I don't know, because if UFC seems to flow better, there's a better flow to it. This was a little bit more chaotic. The announcements weren't as good. The volume for me, where we were sitting, the volume wasn't really that good for during the interviews, during post fights and whatnot. I don't know if that was the same for you. Did you hear the post fights well?
They weren't perfect. No,
right.
No, the mics were not
right,
from WFAN studio.
But that's the thing though.
But
I'm not sure if that's a Bellator thing or is it an MSG thing. But like the sound, there's somebody that's the sound guy. Like that's something that needs to be done. Like you have to. When these guys are talking, I want to hear what they're saying.
Fair. You know? And during the presser, like the curtain with the cameras for the TV broadcast, we could hear. I believe when Cerrone or Freeman was making a funny comment, they were like, freaking zoom in on the face, clear the face, get the clarity, focus. They're just screaming, and it's a little off. You don't get the sense of a B team, but maybe an A- team with Bellator.
Right.
And you can't blame it. It's their second ever pay-per-view.
But this is not the second ever card. You've been building the Spike audience up and stuff like that. And I think, listen, it's a little bit more flashy. It's a little bit more gamey. It's a little bit more, there's a little bit more fun behind it. I'm more of a serious guy, so that's why the UFC is a little bit more epic battles
I'm
and whatnot.
surprised because I'm trying to get you in WWE. You're taking your son to WWE.
I do because I know it's fake.
So I'm going to take him to Bellator now.
No, yeah, maybe. Listen, it's fun. Listen, I won't deny I had fun watching those two guys fight. I had fun the build up. Listen, Bellator does a few things really, really well, and that's hyping up these older guys and that's why we were on with Pharrell, and he was like, "Come on, these aren't the main cards. These aren't the main cards." I'm like, but they're not there yet. They haven't hit that mainstream where they can lead with the Larkin Lima. They can't lead with the Chandler Primus. They have to go with these Sonnen, Silva, Mitrione, and Fedor because those are the names that they have right now that are going to get the bigger draw. So
100%.
that's why they go that way. It makes sense. Now, does it make any sense why they only do a 3-round main card?
That confused me.
It's what they've always done.
That confused me.
But that's also because of the level of people that they have. Like, listen, BJ Penn, we just watched. Well, we're going to talk to Perillo about this, too. BJ Penn, we just saw. He can only go 3 rounds. That's it. That's all he got left.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still so much I want to talk about with the Bellator and obviously BJ and going forward 213. So much to discuss.
Yeah. But first up, who had the huge upset at Bellator NYC, which was definitely the craziest moment of the night, I think.
Boy. Interview this guy, people. Interview this guy.
He was so pissed at the post-fight. He was just like, I wasn't going to talk to anybody, but I guess I'll talk to people now. And he did. He talked to Zach Freeman joins us. He's from Bellator NYC. His huge win over Aaron Pico, and that is next on WFAN's Outside the Cage.